In the beginning, before stories had ever been told, before the first name of the first hero was whispered into the wind, the world was a silent place. Humans lived, worked, hunted, and dreamed, but they had no tales to guide them, no myths to comfort them, no laughter to soften the hardships of living. The nights were long and heavy, and the days felt empty, for the world without stories is like a sky without stars. But somewhere between the earth and the heavens, in the rich cradle of West Africa, a creature moved with quiet purpose. Small, quick, and clever, he saw what others could not. He listened when others ignored. He laughed when the world felt too serious. And he believed deeply, stubbornly, mischievously, that he was destined to change everything. His name was Anansi, the Spider. Trickster, storyteller, shapeshifter, teacher, friend of the wise, troublemaker of the proud, mirror of humankind. This is his story. Chapter 1: Before Stories. Long ago, all the stories of the world belonged to Nyame, the sky god. He guarded them carefully, storing them in shining golden gourds high above the clouds. From there, the stories slept like unborn stars, waiting for light, waiting to fall into the world. Humans begged for them. Animals wished for them. Even the wind yearned for them. But Nyame refused. To him, stories were too powerful to be handed freely to a people who quarreled, forgot their blessings, and often lost their way. No, he told them, the world below is not ready. And so the earth remained quiet, too quiet, until the day Anansi climbed a tall silk thread into the sky and appeared before the throne of Nyame. Tiny, unexpected, completely unafraid, the sky god gazed down at this little creature who dared stand before him. "And what is it that you want, Anansi?" Anansi bowed, his 8 legs spreading with grace. "I want the stories, Nyame. I want to bring them to the people of the earth." Thunder rolled across the heavens at the absurdity of it. "You?" Nyame boomed. "You, a small spider, wish to carry what even great spirits fear to hold. Stories are not toys. Stories shape the world. Why should I give them to you?" And Anansi, with his usual daring, replied, "Because I am the only one who has asked, and I will do whatever it takes." Nyame leaned back, and for the first time, something like amusement flickered across the sky god's great face. "Very well," he said slowly. "If you want my stories, you must pay the price. Bring me 4 impossible things. Bring me Onini the python, longer than a river; Ozebo the leopard, whose claws have carved fear into the hearts of many; Momoatia, the invisible dwarf whose presence alone drives mortals mad; and the swarm of hornets who obey no master. Bring me all these, and the stories are yours." The sky shook with laughter, for Nyame believed no one, not even the mightiest warrior, could accomplish such a feat. But Anansi simply bowed again. "As you wish, Nyame," and he spun himself a thin silver thread back to earth. Chapter 2: Anansi and the Python. On earth, the creatures heard of Anansi's quest and shook their heads. Some pitied him. Some laughed openly, but Anansi ignored them all. He went straight to the riverbank, where Onini the python rested. Now, the python was vast, so long that he seemed part of the river itself. When he lifted his head, the reeds shivered and the fish vanished. But Anansi did not tremble. He walked up to Onini and began speaking loudly to his wife Aso, who, unknown to Onini, was actually a leaf Anansi had decorated with markings to look like a spider. "Oh, Aso," Anansi said in dramatic distress, "I am so confused. They say Onini is longer than this palm branch, but I think he is shorter. How can we ever know?" The python's eyes flashed open. "You dare compare me to a branch?" Onini hissed. "I am far longer." "Well," Anansi said innocently, "if only you would show us." Pride surged through Onini like a river in flood. He stretched out beside the branch. Longer, then longer still, and just as he reached his full magnificent length, Anansi leapt into action, binding the python tightly with his silk, spinning webs in circles, until the great river serpent could not move. "What is this?" Onini roared. "A gift for Nyame," Anansi said. "And the first step to bringing stories to the world?" He dragged Onini away, leaving the riverbank stunned. Chapter 3: The Leopard and the Pit. The next challenge was Osebo the leopard, the silent hunter of the forest, feared by all, admired by none, for he was quick to anger and cruel in victory. How could a spider capture such a beast? Anansi knew. Not with strength, with strategy. He dug a deep pit along Osebo's usual path and covered it with sticks and leaves. Then he waited in the treetops. When Osebo came, walking with the regal air of a king who owned the forest, he stepped upon the covered pit and fell in. The forest shook as he roared and clawed, but the walls were too deep. Anansi scurried to the edge. "Oh, Osebo, what happened to you?" The leopard glared. "Help me out, Anansi." "Of course," Anansi said sweetly. He lowered a long branch. Osebo, desperate to escape, grabbed hold, and as he climbed, Anansi quickly tied vines around his paws. Osebo lunged, but Anansi was gone, darting out of reach. "You tricked me." "I did," Anansi replied, "but I promise your pride will remain intact. Nyame will know you fell not to weakness, but to strategy." And with that, Anansi delivered the leopard to the heavens. Chapter 4: The Invisible Dwarf. The third task was the cruelest. Mimoatia, the invisible dwarf who walked unseen and whispered madness into the minds of travelers. Many had tried to catch the spirit. All had failed. But Anansi had something none of them possessed: the ability to see through pride, through fear, and through the veil between the worlds. He carved a small wooden doll and coated it with sticky sap. Then he placed a bowl of sweet ground yams in the doll's tiny wooden hands and hid it beneath the shade of a great tree. Soon, the air began to shift. Branches bent. Leaves swirled. Anansi felt the presence before he saw it. Momoatia materialized, half child, half spirit, eyes glowing with otherworldly light. The dwarf eyed the doll suspiciously. Then, gradually, hunger overcame caution. He took the food. He tasted it. He licked his fingers. But when he tried to walk away, his hand stuck in the sap. "What trick is this?" Momoatia demanded. "Silence." He slapped the doll with his other hand. That, too, stuck. Soon he was flailing, kicking, screaming, until he was trapped entirely. Anansi stepped out from the shadows. "Forgive me, Momoatia, but the Sky God has asked for you." And the dwarf, powerless against the bindings, could only glare as Anansi carried him skyward. Chapter 5: The Swarm. The final challenge was the most dangerous. The hornets, chaotic, wild, ungovernable. The slightest disturbance, and they attacked in furious storms. But Anansi understood one universal truth: every creature, no matter how fierce, responds to its environment. So he cut a gourd, filled it halfway with water, and stood beneath the hornet's tree on a humid, cloudy day. Then he lifted the gourd and poured water over his own head. "Ah, the rain is coming strong today," he announced loudly. The hornets stirred, hearing the word rain, feeling the falling droplets. Their instincts warned them. Rain destroys nests. Quickly, anxiously, the swarm buzzed down. Anansi held the gourd open. "Come inside," he said. "Hide here until the storm passes." And the hornets, panicked and eager for shelter, flew inside. When the last one entered, Anansi sealed the gourd with a swift plug of leaves. 4 impossible tasks, 4 impossible victories. Anansi climbed back to the heavens with all of them: the python, the leopard, the invisible dwarf, and the hornets. Nyame was astonished. "You truly captured them?" "You?" "Yes," Anansi said, his voice small but steady. "Now may the people have their stories?" Nyame considered him for a long time. Then he spoke. "Anansi, you have proven that greatness is not measured in size, but in wit, courage, and persistence. The stories shall be yours." And he lowered the golden gourd of stories down to earth. When it cracked open, light spilled across the world like dawn. Stories poured out, filling the forests, the rivers, the towns, and the dreams of humanity. And Anansi became the keeper of stories, the first storyteller, the one who threads wisdom into laughter and truth into trickery. From that moment on, stories lived among the people forever. Chapter 6. Anansi in the World. With the gourd of stories now open, Anansi traveled across lands, sharing tales that echoed from Ghana to the Caribbean, from Jamaica to Suriname, from the coasts of West Africa to the islands shaped by the memories of those who carried the stories across the sea. Through the centuries of displacement and diaspora, Anansi changed forms. Kwaku Anansi in Akan lore, Nancy the Spider in the Caribbean, Aunt Nancy in the American South. No matter the name, he remained the same, the trickster who teaches by mischief, the hero who wins through cleverness, the flawed figure who mirrors human nature. His tales were survival tools disguised as entertainment, wrapped in humor, shaped by the resistance and resilience of people who refused to lose their identity, even when the world tried to take it from them.